Ooh. A quick intro for a quick night. I hope everyone can hear me. How's it going? X-Core, Kenny. Just a chill night tonight. Because Choco is celebrating an anniversary. So everyone, cheer for Choco. Happy anniversary. Not much is planned for tonight. I asked in a poll if you guys wanted to see a game stream. There's a couple of options for a game stream. We could play Where Winds Meet, or we could just kind of like chill and talk and hang out with each other like we always do. Today isn't an official episode of Dyad, so I don't have like an outline for it. So what's up with everybody? How's you guys' week? How's everybody doing? X-Core, Kenny, Gooby. I don't think I've ever called you Gooby before. Gooby. Let's see here. You hyped for Star Wars Racer? I am. When is that coming out? I know that me and Choco said that we were gonna do day one streams for that. The Galactic Racer. When is that supposed to come out? Let's check. Set to release for 2026. So, no release date just yet, just this year, like you said. So, excited for that. You know, I'm not really sure if it's like a squadrons type of like simulator racer, because I remember trying to play squadrons and I'm pretty bad. That's why I don't play squadrons anymore. Lord Group says good. Real question, have you seen Gremlins before, or has it just been that long ago? It's been that long ago. I mean, it's one of those movies like Gremlins and probably not this in the same kind of like timeline, but like it's one of those movies that it's been a long time. Like Goonies is the other movie that, you know, there's a lot of movies that I saw as a kid that like I consumed as a kid that I have not gone back and re-consumed as an adult. And that's part of like the retro film rewind for me. Looks like it has several vehicle types. Yeah, I think for the most part it's gonna be. It might actually just be kind of like one of those racers that like perhaps it's kind of like a centralized or a standardized racing mechanic, but you can use like a swoop or a speeder or a pod. I'm trying to figure out what kind of game to bring Yoda's hut back to, though. Because I don't have like a full night like I usually would with Yoda's hut, but also I'm trying to figure out what game would be suitable for like a typical Friday night with everyone. Of course, we don't have to play a game. We could just hang out like this. I'm wondering if it's like Gran Turismo or Forza, where there's like different race classes. That could be a thing as well. Same, it's been years since I saw it, but holy hell, L&M really has evolved since then. There's a lot of like when I really think about it, there's a lot of like movies that would qualify for a retro film rewind. I just thought it was very funny and very apt to do a reaction with Choco, who's never seen it, has never seen Legend, but he has seen like Labyrinth and Neverending Story and Dark Crystal and those like classic dark fantasies. I wonder if he's seen... No, he's seen Gremlins too. I imagine he's seen Gremlins. There's a bunch of those movies from when I was a kid that I never watched. There's a couple of them that I haven't watched either. Like I haven't watched Farscape, which is a series and a movie. There's a bunch. Like I feel like my childhood was subject to whatever my brother was watching at the time, and then I was like, whatever he puts on the VHS is what I'm watching, and that's largely how I got into Star Wars. So do you need an extra for Clue when you get to it? Don't really need anybody, but if you want to be a part of the reaction, you're definitely welcome to join. Like Legend was on the list even way before like I found out Choco hadn't seen it. So the retro film rewind journey is all about kind of looking at like the movies from the 80s and the 90s and be like, I've seen this, but like, do I actually remember comprehending this? Because then like even our reaction to Legend, we got a comment from a fan that said watch the director's cut because it's even darker than like what was put up. So now I might even like rewatch the director's cut of Legend. Yeah, me too. For a long time we had one TV, then my brother had the only other TV. Yeah, exactly. Choco's Day Off sounds like a rap album title. Well, the night is young. We might release an album by the end of this live stream. How's it going, Spooky? Clue is one of my favorites from back then. God, it's been years since I've seen it. It hasn't been that long. I've rewatched Clue, not regularly, but I think I rewatched it in like maybe like 10 years ago. It's not as long as like all the other movies that I've been watching where I watched as a kid. But it's still worth a rewatch, I think, especially after seeing Darkness and Tim Curry go off in Legend. Yeah, I don't even know if we need to play a game today. You know, I think we should just chill and kind of hang out with each other. Unless there's like a game somebody wants me to play. Because I know if I get into Where Winds Meet, I'm just gonna like lock in and just ignore everyone while I play that. That's not really a good time for y'all. Love the hangout streams. I'm definitely gonna do more of them. I have this stage set up for precisely for Yoda's Huts, which happens on Tuesdays. Just trying to gauge interest as to like whether or not, you know, because I do know that Connor, one of our good friends, Connor, loves Yoda's Huts, where like where I play a game, and we've played games before that like is pretty cinematic in nature and kind of encouraging to play with an audience. Like I've played Life is Strange, and we've played decision-based games where the chat helps me make decisions. So those are always like a cool little option. Rivals has Deadpool now. He has 3 roles. Honestly, man, I feel like I might lose some street cred, but I've really kind of lost passion for Rivals as of late. Is Where Winds Meet as good as they say it is? Yes. It depends on where you're coming off of. As good as who says it is, because it's as good as I say it is. It's got the combat of an action RPG, and it has the difficulty, if you want it, of a Souls-like. It's got the story and the single player experience of like a Fallout, a Skyrim. And it's just incredible. I don't know how to describe it. The exploration is top notch. Exploration, the open worldness is on par with Skyrim. It's on par with Zelda. Those games. And the story quality is epic, especially if you have any affinity for like a wuxia or Chinese like hero storytelling. Oh yeah, they have Oregon Trail on the Switch too. That's a classic. I just found out Knights of the Seven Kingdoms will only have 30-minute episodes. Well, it better have like 20 episodes or something. I was thinking about getting either that or Ghost of Yote. Look, I mean, I don't think it's a either or scenario. Where Winds Meet is free. You can get that and Ghost of Yote. You can get both for different reasons. Like it literally is that good of a game where you can download it and play it to max level cap and have a wonderful experience, because it never paywalls the primary experience. It never paywalls the primary experience. Cosmetics is the cosmetics is essentially what the microtransactions and the gacha system are for. It doesn't paywall character progression. It doesn't paywall gear. It doesn't paywall any of the stuff that typically free games are paywalled. So if you download Where Winds Meet, you'll get to play the entire game, and the only like I suppose the only like time you'll feel compelled to spend any money is if you want your character to look cool. And that's essentially the only reason I've spent money in the game. I've wanted cool costumes, a cool mount. One of those cool mounts was the Kung Fu Hustle thing where they run really, really fast. So it's really strategic in what it tries to sell to people. Hey, so is that Star Wars movie set way in the past still being made? I heard something about it being on hold or just straight up canceled. The Dawn of the Jedi one? No, it's still on. That's still being made. The last update we've gotten is that they're still writing the script, along with the updates to New Jedi Order. That's stupid and very risky, given that universe has hour-long episodes. You're talking about the Knights of the Seven Kingdoms? I mean, 30-minute episodes could still work. It just depends on the story they're trying to tell, right? If they're trying to tell like a very intriguing political thriller, like your standard Game of Thrones, of course you would need the length of episode in which to convey that micro story every week.
OnlyFans charge, sir.
Hey, Cal4. Shout out to Cal4, friend of the channel, for the gifted membership, and Raffi Wolf is the recipient of that gift member. Shout out to Cal4, shout out to Raffi Wolf. Enjoy that membership, and enjoy our After Dark episodes. Let's see here. What can I play for that? We'll do this. Thanks for that gifted sub. It's a short story, so I get it. I just want more. I mean, it depends, right? If it depends on the story they're trying to tell. You know? I mean, Knights of the Seven Kingdoms is based off of 3 short novels, novelettes, so 30 minutes an episode works perfectly for the show. I mean, again, you guys will often find Choco and I saying that the length of an episode, the length of a season, it all entirely hinges on the story you're trying to tell. And that's why we get really, really mad about, Disney's mandates on episode and season lengths, because it's a mandate that is external from. It's a mandate that's external from story requirements. It's not a mandate that they come to when they look at the story that they need to tell. It's a mandate that exists outside of it, and so it really, really hamstrings the creative in that process. Now, if you if you then write the script and you figure out and storyboard everything, and you kind of get your story length and your episode length and your season length that from the writing, that means then the creative won't suffer for that. So again, like I said, it depends on what story the Knights of the Seven Kingdoms is trying to tell. So I don't know if like the 30-minute episodes is something that's been mandated for the showrunner, or if that's the episode length that they thought was a requirement. Shout out to Gage in the chat. Choco deserves a day off. What about me? Shout out to Nemo VGC in the chat. Yeet yeet. One word. Spooky Kitty says length doesn't matter, only girth. That's true, actually. Now, I don't want to make this a stream for a certain kind of person, or I don't want to make this a body shaming stream, but in my experience, and from everyone that I've talked about, the length has never been the issue. It's always been the technique. One of my best friends that will remain nameless, of course, for anonymity's sake, says that their best experience has been with their smallest partner, so to speak. So take that with you, and learn how to do other things. X-Core says, skirt. No days off for the seventh element. Yeah, I know. I gotta keep things going. Spooky says, you sound sleepy. I am sleepy. But no, it's my voice is still recovering from my sickness. I don't know what it is. Ever since like COVID, when I get sick, even if it's not COVID, when I get sick, my voice takes a hit, and it like stays sounding like this for at least a week or two. So I'm gonna have this like raspiness in my voice at least for another week. I think for another week. Kenny says, I've personally never heard of a dual president of a company. I know there are a whole lot of dual duties with like producers and creative roles, but never the big roles like CEO or presidents. I think, you know what? I think it's largely a title for like ceremonial purposes. I do think that Dave's real role in the company will still be largely that of chief creative. You know, Lin-Wen Brennan has much more of a business acumen resume. So take it for what it is. I think I think it's called ceremonial, right? Like a ceremonial title. Like I think Dave is all about the creative, and Lin-Wen Brennan is all about the business side of things. And so I actually think that's kind of like the best of both worlds. And it's the best way for us to get a like a Dave at the head of at the table, but also kind of a Dave that's still involved in creative. Cal said Dyad After Dark. Hey, there's some talking points that we can visit, with certain ambiguity, Harrison says it's all in a lightsaber form, if you will. Exactly. And it's in choosing the lightsaber form for certain scenarios, right? Spooky Kitty says, you made it weird. I don't think it's weird to talk about that stuff. You know, am I alone here? Like, I think we're all adults and we can kind of talk about that stuff. At least, like, not in like super great detail, but we know what we're talking about, and it's nothing new. I don't know if you guys have noticed as well. I'm super increasing the frequency of videos that we're releasing every week, and just kind of going off of the general vibe of videos that we come across. I am 100% increasing the amount of videos I debunk and push back against. Because there's no reason for me to be diplomatic on this side. I think if you're wrong and your video is wrong, you need to be held to account. It's kind of like WB with Gun and the other guy whose name I forgot. Feige? Can we get some Chewy's Tree streams in the future, which is what I would call streams with Choco Gaming? We'll talk to Choco about that, but I'm pretty sure he wouldn't mind doing some of a Chewy Tree Yoda Hut co-stream at some point. It's also smart PR for Disney and Lucasfilm to get the heat off of Lin-Manuel Brennan. Yeah, that's true. But you know what? I also don't think that the move is to avoid any like heat in general, because the chuds are going to do whatever they want. They're going to generate heat no matter what. They have a great track record of making things up. So all we can do is fight back and make sure everyone knows that they're making stuff up. X-Core says all these MFs clamoring for Dave as head of the company might finally shut up. No, they're gonna find a way. Trust me. Which is the most interesting thing about this announcement is how are they gonna spin it this time? Because for years, Kathleen Kennedy is getting fired. For years, they've wanted a change in leadership. Now there's a change of leadership. We're gonna have to dress up their arguments in a different sheep's clothing now. Your video is bad and you should feel bad, Zoidberg. That's essentially the stance that I'm taking on this. I have another video that's in the pipeline again of someone trying to rake coals over the fire about the ancient dagger in Rise of Skywalker, and I'm just like, this is the most tired argument ever. I don't even like that, but it's not that big of a deal. Okay, I've mentioned it in my video. Do we consider Gremlins as Christmas movie? I do have a reason for no, it's not. I have a weird take for Christmas movie. So there's one criteria that everyone always falls back on for a Christmas movie, and does it take place around Christmas? Which is the argument that people have for Die Hard. The other criteria that I superimpose on a Christmas movie is it something that you can always watch during the holidays, which is where Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings comes in, like, because it's become a tradition for our family to rewatch those movies around the holiday season. So they inadvertently become Christmas movies for at least my family. So I guess at least the question that I have, at least in regards to what I consider a Christmas movie, could Gremlins become a Christmas movie tradition? And I suppose for the longest time, since I haven't seen it for a long time, it's not. At least for me, like officially. Pretty sure those guys have many months worth of prepared anti-Filoni clickbait titles and video topics just waiting to be unleashed. Listen, this is how much we are all familiar with the Grift Goblin playbook. When Mandalorian first came out, everyone was like, "Oh, Dave Filoni is incredible. He should be running things." In Filoni we trust became the modus operandi for the Grift Goblins and the Carpet Nuggets for a long time. And then we got Ahsoka, and we got Sabine, and we got, you know, a lot of other projects under Dave Filoni that to them, whether they were woke or not, or adhered to any specific message, they had to continue to hate. So they turned on Filoni for a little bit, but they couldn't do it for long because Kathleen Kennedy was their main target, right? And then Andor came out, and Tony Gilroy was everyone's savior. But then Tony Gilroy was singing praises of Kathleen Kennedy and how she fought for the series and how she was instrumental in its success. So they kind of had to pivot and be like, Andor's pretty good. It's the best Disney's done. And of course there are people that are, you know, authentic and genuine about how they feel about Andor, but for the most part, the Grift Goblins, and I include Star Wars Theory in this one, for the most part, they have to kind of concede a little bit. Because at some point, you just look pretentious as hell when you constantly think everything is just bad. Like, I think Theory reached really hard to try to paint Andor as his version of bad, and he got roasted for it. My bet is budget will be the big thing they complain about. Maybe, you know, I think this is one of the things that me and Choco talk about in our video about this. I think it's good that Dave Filoni is there for like the creative side and like the world building and mythos side, but Lin-Manuel Brennan is there as like the head of ILM and like the head of Lucasfilm business to know the ins and outs of budgeting, and in particularly knows the ins and outs of budgeting for special effects, whether that be practical or otherwise. So we'll see. We don't really know for sure what this means for the next era of Star Wars. I'm choosing to use Mandalorian and Grogu as sort of like the preamble or the prologue to this chapter of Star Wars under new leadership, because if you guys know anything about business, when they announce it on the website is not exactly when it happened, right? That's typically around 3 to 4 months after it's been, you know, after it's been done like officially in the books. And then after like a couple of months of, you know, sort of like a grace period, then they make the announcement. So Filoni and Lin-Manuel, for the most part, realistically have been in those roles for the past couple of months. So that's how I'm choosing to see Mandalorian and Grogu. It seems like that would be a great kind of prologue to gauge where Filoni and Brennan are going to take Star Wars in the future. And I think Starfighter might also be a product of that as well, because Sean Levy says that Kathleen Kennedy is the one that greenlit the project and said, make whatever Star Wars movie you want. I also think that during principal photography, Dave Filoni and Brennan may have taken over in that respect. So shout out to Noble Skywalker. I want to play Phantom Blade. And shout out to Cubco's Star Wars TikTok. Just pop in and say good day. Have a good stream. Appreciate you stopping by. Just a chill stream this week. Hanging out with the chat. In the Deadline article, Kennedy said this was a move she had planned for 2 years now. I'm sure it's been planned for even more than that, but in terms of industry know-how and just in general how business works through personal experience, this announcement this announcement that they made on StarWars.com is not when it happened. I think Dave Filoni and Brennan have been running things now for at least a couple of months. Does it feel odd for you to have nobody else in the stream who can speak in real time? Odd? No. I mean, if you look, I suppose if you look further back, and we're not further back. If you look far enough in my history, I do have a history of streaming games on Twitch, like a long time ago. So it's not alien to me, or it's not weird. But as a Friday night, that's typically reserved for our flagship show, Dyad in the Force. It is a little bit daunting, to say the least. Yeah, I have done just chatting streams on TikTok as well. So it's nothing new to me. It's not weird, but it, like I said, it's certainly a different feeling. I feel like I can pay attention more to the chat alone. But you're right. Like there's a certain air of unfamiliarity when I cannot ask Choco for like additional insight, right? It's just me and then you guys. Are you the die or the ad in the dyad for this one? I am the dyad. Like the channel is called Dyad. I think mythically speaking and mythologically speaking, both Choco and I are a dyad, but we're also trying to take advantage of the new collaboration feature with YouTube now, where all of our videos can be listed under Dyad and Darth Choco as well, because he has his brand as well. You might have noticed in some of our more recent videos that some videos are Dyad and Darth Choco. Just kind of broadens the audience. So Choco is the Force. Choco is in the Force. But a dyad requires two people, so your alter ego has to be the other part of the dyad. Well, see, the thing is, we're a dyad regardless of whether or not he's here to be present on the show. I can feel him right now, celebrating his anniversary with his wife. And so the dyad is still present. Choco's just not here right now. If that makes sense. So even if Choco is not here, we are still a dyad. And Choco is still in the Force. Try not to think too much further beyond that, because it does not hold up to scrutiny. I'm just trying to be... just having fun with it. But you guys have me to yourselves for seemingly the next hour, so if you guys want to talk about anything, feel free to bring something up. I did have a game planned for the day, but I think I would just, like, if I did play the game that I'm thinking of, which is Where Winds Meet, I would lock in too hard and I wouldn't pay attention to chat. It's that fun of a game. Though I do plan to play Where Winds Meet on stream for Yoda's Hut one of these days. Shout out to ZB in the TikTok side. Happy to catch you live. Love your content. I appreciate you, ZB, for stopping by. And I appreciate the sentiment. Glad to have you here. Honestly, I get more spoiled brat vibes from Theory, but you could be right. I don't think Theory is a grift goblin. I actually agree with you. More of a spoiled brat more than anything. But like, the thing that just I cannot F with is lying about your stance and lying about your feelings about a thing to keep up appearances, you know, because you can't hide that. Me and Choco used to subscribe to Theory, and you can't hide the fact that you used to love the sequels. You rated The Rise of Skywalker a 9 out of 10, and you rated the sequel trilogy as a whole an 8 out of 10. And you did subsequent streams after that saying, well, listen, you can hate me all you want, but that's how I feel about the sequels. And then, for some odd reason, you started hanging out with the more explicit grift goblins and the carpet nuggets, and he started walking back his feelings on those movies and started to adopt a stance that I don't think he genuinely holds. Are you on Twitch? I'm streaming on Twitch and YouTube at the same time. I'm live on all platforms. But our flagship platform right now, in terms of live, is the red play button, or YTube. And on YTube, it's Dyad in the Force, DYAD in the Force, and on Twitch, it's twitch.tv/DYAD in the Force, Dyad in the Force. Theory has left Grifter more red pill, in my opinion. It's a fine line, though. I mean, he certainly can kind of tread on both sides, honestly. But it's not something that I tolerate. So... I think that Star Wars Theory tends to lash out emotionally as a result of some kind of traumatic past that he hasn't processed. Maybe. if theory is grifting, that it's not working. I mean, I think to be as charitable as possible, I think Theory's biggest issue is he thinks way too highly of his own opinion. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't watch him enough anymore, but the clips that get sent to me to react to, he's always like saying, listen, I know people in Lucasfilm, and I understand the prequels better than anyone else, and if you're going to have an opinion on them, you have to know the lore. And obviously, as someone who knows the lore inside and out, quite frankly, a lot more than Theory, it's not something that I would put forth as an end-all be-all requirement to have opinions on Star Wars. I think, for the most part, there are people that know a lot about the lore and a lot about Star Wars and still get basic pieces of information wrong. If you're complaining about the lightsaber choreography and you don't know that George Lucas had a specific intent on doing fast choreography for well-trained Jedi and slow choreography for the people post the fall of the Jedi Order, then you're kind of dumb. Like, not dumb in a sense that it's a dumb opinion. It's dumb to pretend to be a certain type of Star Wars fan and to hold these opinions and complain about things that is historically Star Wars.
At Zachbone 3187 super chatted 99.99 ramens. Big fan, keep it up.
Whoa. Shout out to Zach Bowen 3187. Big fan, keep it up. I appreciate the 99 credit ramen drop. That's a huge one. Thank you so much for the support. We will keep it up. That's a lot. I don't know what to say other than to thank you. And we'll keep on fighting on and we'll keep keeping on, if that makes sense. I'm flustered because that amount is, especially these days, you know, everyone's hard-earned money is like sacrosanct, and to part ways with it to support someone like this channel, it certainly says a lot about you and your character, so thank you. I would say that it's more like he gravitated towards the audience that didn't criticize him. That's another thing about it. And I don't want to make this a stream about Theory, but like I feel like he strokes his ego about how much he knows and who he knows, and he has 3.3 million subscribers. And then like there are the people that kind of like stroke the ego like and are sycophants, and that affects a certain person. So I'm, you know, I think he believes in his own legend. I think that he is Luke Skywalker prior to The Last Jedi. 'Cause I'm the legend. I was Luke Skywalker, Jedi Master, legend. So I think there's a case can be made that there's a future in there where there's a huge fall, because that's not a sustainable personality. Oh yeah, who was that YouTuber that kissed his ass publicly during that drama, Eckerd's Ladder? I thought it was Stupendous Wave, wasn't it? Or it could have been both. I don't know. If you're having stream problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but making ramens ain't one. No, I feel like we need to kind of celebrate that tremendous milestone in terms of singular ramen drop. I'll talk to Choco offline and see what we can do to kind of say thank you in general for that. We've been actually talking about more things that we can do in person. One of the things we discussed was perhaps getting together and playing Star Wars Trivial Pursuit as like an offline video where like we get together to hang out and we play in person, because that's something, our proximity to each other is something that we haven't truly taken advantage of when it comes to like creating content together. We still live like hours away from each other, but we have the ability to make content together, which is not something that everyone has the luxury of doing. And so we've been talking about trying to make more content in person. Theory spearheaded a harassment campaign against Star Wars Explained over something they didn't even say, and Eckhart's Ladder went and made sure Theory still liked him. Yeah, there's definitely a sycophant problem for sure. I just feel like it's very like high school cliquey, you know what I mean? And like I've seen that stuff between him and Explained, and for the most part, can I just say it feels like Theory is like a crybaby. Like I mean maybe Theory's holding on to extra stuff, but everything that he has released on their beef just really looks bad for Theory personally. That's just me. That's just a theory. Oh God, I really think that we should also consider patenting the word theory for the public domain, because I really hate the fact that something that we typically do in Star Wars and in any fandom, which is theory crafting and having a theory, I hate that it is double entendre kind of has to, by virtue of his nomenclature, be something that's associated. Crazy Matt Pat's in politics now. Where is he doing politics? I mean, I think he made the right move when he kind of sold off his channel. Was like, I'm just gonna do my thing now. Though I haven't watched anything from his channels in a while. Theory isn't even a real Legends fan, even though he pretends to be. He's not, no. Even when I publicly subscribed to Theory, all of his videos on Legends were Wikipedia blurbs, you know, save for changing a few words here and there. Like anytime he would talk about a Legends topic, make a video on that. And this is when he actually made content on Star Wars, which isn't really that bad of a thing. When when me and Choco explain the pod and do our lore explainers, we're largely firing from the hip. Of course, we're going to come with receipts and like citations from the material, but we're firing from the hip. Back when Theory made Star Wars content, you kind of clocked it really quickly that he was reading a Wikipedia or a blurb. It changed a few words here and there. Part of being able to be a fan of anything is being able to surmise that part in your own words. And I feel like that's going to be another issue going forward, at least with ChatGPT and AI derived content. I really don't want talking heads to go away in place of videos made and written entirely by AI. So support your creators, support the creators that talk into the mic personally and disseminate information on a personal level, like Harith Edits and Xcore Gamers. Like I feel like I met all of you guys from like a creator perspective. Spooky not so much, but like I trust your guys's insight and general discussion in a way that I think all of you guys are creators in a sense. MatPat is learning theory, a political theory. People should say in an original way instead of in your own words, because the only way we can speak in our own words is if we make words up that get added to a dictionary. I know the spirit of that statement, Craig, but essentially what we're trying to say is say it the way you think you would say it. Disseminate this information in the way you would personally, rather than trying to find an original way. Because, you know, sometimes me and Choco say the same thing, but we say the same thing in different ways, in our own words. I mean, I think that's still a great way to look at things. I'm not really a creator anymore, to be honest. I know, but like you and I and Choco became mutuals in that respect. And so everyone here in the chat, everyone here in our community is super eloquent and super knowledgeable in Star Wars, where I could consider all of you guys creators, whether you guys are creators or not. You know, Gage always comes in with amazing takes and amazing knowledge in the lore. And I know Harith as a creator as well. And I think Harrison as well. Just like the Force, we've all got a little creator in us. Exactly. I'm not a creator. I'm just a cringe lord who showed up, and you're all stuck with me now. Well, here's the thing, Spooky. If you look at it another way, you're a creator of cringe. How can you be a cringe lord if you can't create cringe? You are creator. You're a creator, Harry. That's fair. I'm not really a lore dude. I just exist on vibes and character analysis. Xcore, that's not true at all. There's a bit more to you than vibe. That's for sure. And you do know your stuff, so it's not even like, you know. Again, we're not like judging people off of a standard criteria here. If you've created, you're a creator. A little off topic, I was thinking of a cool concept just today. Do you remember the movie Space Truckers? I was thinking that, but Star Wars, a former Jedi who became a transporter who takes jobs to be continued. Okay, that sentence is to be continued. I'll read the whole thing when the rest of it comes out. Shout out to Kiosco Hecho, who says I'm definitely not a creator, says the person who has Destiny clips on a channel. You create moments, good sir. I'm a creator knight. An element is a creator master. I mean, I suppose. Okay. So the whole movie came out by Kenny. Let's see. The movie Space Truckers, but Star Wars. A former Jedi who became a transporter who takes jobs to live, but he gets on load. He gets on load to takes him back and finds himself in a dilemma to continue to just live off of the road or get back to what he knows. Kenny, was this written by ChatGPT? I feel like that you were a huge victim of like autocorrect and like fat thumbing it, because I can't really understand. So it's a Jedi who becomes a transporter, who takes on jobs to earn a living, and he gets on the road. So he gets on a road that takes him back he gets on the road and he finds himself in a dilemma that requires him to just live off of the road. There's a lot of like brain processing TPUs that I'm missing right now. I just try to create laughs. It's an honorable endeavor. Let's see here. Xcore says, because people don't understand Mortis. Gage, so how is Gage's Laughing Gage coming along? Man, Craig's on top of things. Y'all need to keep up. No, I promise it was not AI bullshit. No, I mean, that was just largely a joke. Like, it's really difficult to parse what you wrote. He gets a load that makes him choose the life on the road or the life he remembers. Okay, so he gets a job which contains cargo that then ends up becoming a binary choice. Gotcha. I mean, it's interesting. I think for the most part, most heroes' journeys are that with more bells and whistles. You know, you get on the road, you receive something that is somewhat the hero's call, and then you have to choose whether you go on an adventure or you stick to the life you know. It was a joke. I didn't really think it was written by ChatGPT. I'm still on that $99 ramen drop. That was straight class. The call to action, the refusal of the call, the parting of the veil. There we go. That's X-Core's creator side coming out. All right, here's a prompt for everyone in the chat. Now that it's official, now that it was announced, what do you think Dave Filoni's first project with Lin-Manuel Brennan is going to be? Because, you know, throughout this process, they've filmed Starfighter, they're releasing Mandalorian and Grogu, and Ahsoka season 2 has been wrapped. So we can't really say Ahsoka season 2 is his first project as co-president. So what do you guys think? It'll be his movie after Ahsoka season 2. What movie is that? What movie does he have slated after Ahsoka season 2? Is that supposed to be like the heir to the Empire type of thing that they were hinting at? Oh, maybe that's when it happened. Maybe he became the co-president and was like, we're going to do the heir to the Empire thing. Interesting. I'm hoping it's Dawn of the Jedi. I feel like Filoni, Mangold, Hidalgo, and Williman are the perfect squad for that story. Yeah. True. Excuse me while I blow my nose. All right. Would love it if it's Dawn of the Jedi, but agree with Gage. Heir to the Empire movie was announced in 2023 at London Celebration, so well before his promotion. That's true, but since Heir to the Empire hasn't entered, I suppose pre-development, pre-dev, I'd say that's a pretty close to what would be his first project as he's officially under his official promotion. Do you mind an extra person tonight? I wouldn't have if it was like 30 minutes ago, because I think I only have like 20 or 30 minutes left in this stream. And the current stage isn't set up for the call. You know what I mean? But we could always slate you for next week, Kenny, if you want to come on and give your thoughts and your insights personally about just in general this conversation. The awkward moment where you have to check your yard for coyotes before you let the dog out. I have to check for coyotes before I get out of my car in general. There's so many nowadays, especially around the hills outside of Hollywood. In the Hollywood Reporter, they said Filoni's movie is on the back burner. There were no sources for it, but with the reputation, I believe it. I mean, I think for the most part, Heir to the Empire like largely hinges on the success of Mandalorian and Grogu and Ahsoka season 2, right? We'll see. Shout out to Hemi D-Man. Appreciate you. Thank you for the likes. Also help me out, guys. If I do plan on future Yoda's Hut gaming streams, what would you guys want to see me play? I know I put it to a vote today, but I never really got to playing anything. We just kind of hung out, but considering we might do a little bit more gaming streams from now on, let me know. Would you guys want to do like Jackbox games or something? I know we do miss some Pictionaries, some Star Wars Pictionary. It's been a while since we've seen Choco draw a phallic symbol, so we can always revisit that, you know. I might do some streams with Where Winds Meet. Like I might be able to plan a Where Winds Meet stream where everyone knows that, you know, it may end up being the case where I have to lock in during fights and I can't pay attention to the chat. We'll see. Hammy D-Man says, I'm genuinely hopeful for the brand. I am concerned that no one seems to care that there is a Star Wars film this year. You know, that's been on my mind too. I feel like right now the media hype is around Doomsday, which is a year from now. And it makes me a little bit concerned that there's no media sprint for Mandalorian and Grogu, which is like 3 months from now. So I definitely see that concern, and I share some of that concern as well. I also feel like we have more information on Starfighter than Mando and Grogu. We've gotten a trailer for Mandalorian and Grogu. I think for the most part, what we know of Starfighter is largely... this music is way too hype. Hold on. I think what we know of Starfighter is largely because there's a lot to speculate. We don't have more information on Starfighter. We've just gotten that they filmed a lightsaber duel, which has caused an eruption of theory crafting, which you know, oh, is there a Jedi? Is Ryan Gosling a Jedi? Is there a Sith? Is it a one-sided duel? Is it a duel between lightsabers? Is it actually Corran Horn? Because the timeline matches with the Corran from Obi-Wan Kenobi show. So there's a lot more theory crafting that we can do on Starfighter, but that doesn't mean we have more information on Starfighter. Like Mandalorian and Grogu, we have a trailer. We've seen Zeb. We know the general story of that movie and where they plan to go with it. We've seen Sigourney Weaver. We've seen all of the major players, relatively speaking, in the movie. So we don't have more than Mando and Grogu, but there is more to talk about with Starfighter for sure. I imagine there will be a Super Bowl trailer, but it is leaving it pretty late. So, you know, when I watched like the usual suspects covering the Doomsday teasers and like the trailers, there has been releases stating that there is going to be a Mandalorian and Grogu trailer in the summer Super Bowl. So that's going to be a thing. I think it would be dumb for them to not have anything for Mandalorian and Grogu. But I also think teasing something like... Now, this is like me kind of giving them the benefit of the doubt. I also think that there's more to tease with the Avengers Doomsday than there is with Mandalorian and Grogu, because I do think that if there is anything significant that needs to be dropped for that movie, it would make sense for them to keep a lot of details close to the chest, to keep things from being spoiled too much. Whereas with Doomsday, like, yeah, we know the Avengers are coming back. We know that Doctor Doom has something to do with it. So releasing these teasers and saying so and so will return for Avengers Doomsday is not too much in detail. I imagine if Mandalorian and Grogu has something to do with Thrawn, his reemergence, as Hammy D says on the TikTok side, and the conflict that arises from that, they may want to play that close to the chest. Because we haven't had any of that in the trailer. So maybe those are details that they're kind of keeping under wraps for now. I am worried if we get a Mando and Grogu trailer alongside a Doomsday trailer. No, I don't share that concern, because there may be some overlap with Star Wars and MCU fans, but for the most part, they're not coming out at the same time, so they're not competing with each other. They might compete for mind share and hype, but I think after this like blitz winds down with Doomsday, it'll be Mando and Grogu season, and they'll start to ramp things up for sure. And then, you know, Doomsday teasers and stuff will take a bit of a backseat. Agreed. I'm kind of cool with that. Would rather know less going into it, honestly, and just enjoy the ride. I bet they don't have Thrawn in the movie. I think that's only Dave's stuff. Well, I mean, we'll see. There's a chance that it culminates in Thrawn, because we know Zeb is in it. So I think for the most part, this movie is going to serve as a New Republic perspective going towards the Thrawn conflict, and Ahsoka season 2 will be like the Force and mysticism side of that conflict, and then it'll go back to the Thrawn conflict on the big screen. That's what I think it's going to be. I don't think Thrawn is a huge big bad in the movie, but I think it's going to kind of connect narratively to it. It's going to connect narratively to Ahsoka season 2. And then Ahsoka season 2 is going to, you know, paint a larger picture. Because they did say in filming Ahsoka season 2, they said that they filmed a lot of battles. So I think Mando and Grogu is still Mando and Grogu's story, and it culminates in Thrawn's reemergence, and it will lead into Ahsoka season 2, and Ahsoka season 2 will provide a little bit more depth to this conflict, and then of course give us the mysticism of like Baylan Skoll and what he's finding, what he's searching for. Dave said that half of Ahsoka season 2 is Akbar versus Thrawn in space battles. I mean, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. But I don't know. I don't think given who is in charge of Disney right now, which is Bob Iger for now, I don't think that they would move forward with Mandalorian and Grogu in theaters if there wasn't something massive attached to that storyline. Like, I really hope that's not the case. I really hope that Mandalorian and Grogu in the theater isn't just watching an episode of The Mandalorian on the big screen. I really hope that's not the case. If that ends up being the case, I'm going to be really, really disappointed, but I truly don't think that they would move forward without something big tying it all together for this Mando Grogu movie. If anything, I think Luke Skywalker is going to play a huge role. If it's not the story of Thrawn and his reemergence and all of that, and it connects to Ahsoka season 2, I feel like this is a vessel for Luke Skywalker to make more of a play during that story. There's got to be a hook. And right now, I can usually tell what the hook is for any Star Wars project going forward. You know, Ahsoka Season 2 is Baylan Skull's search, and the being Ahsoka and Sabine being sequestered on Peridia. Like, that's the story, that's the hook. This whole kind of lore thing about the Mortis gods is the hook. The hook for Starfighter is this is a new story. It's in the sequel era, and there's a lightsaber duel, and we don't know what that means. And so far, that's the hook, and that's okay because we don't have a trailer and we don't have any other information on Starfighter. But with Mando and Grogu, I don't know what the hook is. They can't go forward with just it's Mandalorian and Grogu. There's got to be a hook there somewhere. And I suppose 80% of that hook could be Grogu, because everyone loves Baby Yoda from like a bird's eye perspective of things. But from a storytelling perspective, there's got to be a hook somewhere in the movie that we don't know about yet. I think Luke is more likely than Thrawn in the movie. I think so too. I also think that it matches most of like the insider reports that they're gearing up for a Luke Skywalker show. God, I hope they recast him. I really do. I think you're deepening it a tad. I feel like they wanted to save first film after Tross and picked Mandalorian since that is the moneymaker. It's not so much deepening it. I'm just trying to think of what could they have seen in the pitch meeting that was like, oh, this has to be in the movies. It's not like I'm trying to reach for like this grand hook, but I'm trying to see that for all intents and purposes, I'm trying to see past it being an episode of The Mandalorian in movies. I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, because that's partly why Choco and I aren't particularly excited about this movie, is because right now it feels like just an episode. This is just another quest for Mando and Grogu. So I'm trying to see if there's anything else to latch onto that could happen in the theater as you're watching it that makes you go, oh, this is what they're planning to do. Do you know what I mean? So, like, hence my proposal that Luke might make an appearance and Luke might have a bigger part to play, a bigger role to play in this narrative, and it kind of sets up the whole notion that they're gearing up for like a Luke show, right? They might use Mandalorian and Grogu as a vehicle to set things up for a Luke show or a Luke movie. And yes, they should cast Sebastian Stan. Absolutely. Or they can cast the person that stood in for Luke during the Book of Boba Fett. That actor looks like Luke. Lucasfilm saw Grogu and went, that's $1 billion since it's a film that appeals to families and Star Wars fans. That could be the case as well. I'm not discounting the fact that Grogu is a moneymaker, for sure. Grogu, like, zeitgeist-wise, is on top of, like, he's up there with Vader and Yoda. Like, everybody knows Baby Yoda, even if they don't know who Grogu is. Everybody knows Darth Vader, even if they don't know who Anakin was. So, yeah, there's that draw, for sure. But personally, as a fan, I think Luke showing up during the movie as part of Star Wars' first big screen debut in the last several years would be a huge move. Like, think about it. Mando and Grogu, yes, Grogu is a huge draw in and of itself, but it's their first movie in several years, and I think it would be a huge and a massive power play to give people Luke on the big screen. Right? Because, like, our first taste of Luke post-return was in a season finale of Mandalorian. And so I feel like since Mandalorian is going to the big screen, then logically I think that they could give us our first movie with Luke back in the fold. So for Mando and Grogu, I can't really say, but they didn't do Din as Mandalore. Grogu isn't a Jedi. So do they finally reveal Grogu Yoda Yaddle home planet? That's something that they'll never reveal. They'll never reveal Yoda species. I feel like that's one of the never-ending mystery boxes that just won't be opened, along with Anakin's true origin. I think what they will do, if they went that direction, they may visit Grogu's home. They might visit their home planet and reveal that their entire species is extinct. So there's nothing really to reveal or to share. We might be able to go to their home planet and they might not have a name for it. And like Mando is there with Grogu. He's like, this is your home, Grogu. And Grogu's like, meh, meh. Everyone's gone. Everyone's extinct. You know, everyone's extinct. The species is extinct, and Grogu is one of the last remainders of that species, which I maintain to this day. That species, non-canonically, is called Jedi. Come for me. I don't care. I'm running with that theory till the day Star Wars ends. The original Jedi were Yoda species. The way Dave talked about opening scene for his movie also makes it sound like this one isn't important, unfortunately. I don't know. Dave's not the best person to look to in regards to creating hype for his own projects. I think Dave does a lot more work for his projects after the fact. Like a lot of the things that we talk about with like Rebels, for example, just comes from like the DVD commentary with Dave. Like Dave didn't really do much to hype it up when it was airing, you know? And I think it's part of Dave's nature to try not to let anything slip. Plus, I can't wait to see what the popcorn bucket is for Mando and Grogu. Plus, I feel like they've been setting Luke in that role for a while. I hope they go team recast over just CGI deepfakes. I really hope it's team recast as well. Please, for the love of God, do not make it a popcorn bucket where you stick your hand in Grogu's mouth the same way they made the Dune popcorn bucket, where you had to like stick your hand in to a thing, you know. Honestly, the safe bet for the popcorn bucket is to make it Din's helmet, like upside down, and you're just putting the popcorn in his helmet. It's something George said, but he ain't in charge. Are they the Jedi? I don't think. I think. If I were to go further with this theory, I think Yoda's species were called Jedi. Not spelled the same way. And they were one of the first. And that's where the name came from. That's just like where my mind's at right now. Fair, yeah, he just spoke about Mando and Grogu like it's an afterthought to connect to Heir to the Empire. Buff wrote Rada the Hutt bucket. Jeez. I just don't like popcorn buckets where you have to stick your hand into something. You know what I mean? Like, don't make it like a natural container. Like I said, Din Djarin's helmet. Or a bit, you know, it'd be cool if like it was a popcorn bucket that like was adorned with Beskar chainmail like around it. You know what I mean? And then like a crest of their clan crest on it. That'd be pretty cool. Be pretty expensive. Be pretty cool. The popcorn bucket would have been cool if it was the floating bed crib he had. Oh, it was the that egg thing. What was it called? It is called the pram. Grogu's hover pram. I mean, they can make it like that too, for sure. The N1 Starfighter. That would be a little bit difficult to get your hands in on, like the narrow fuselage, you know. How's your week been? It's been you know, it's been good. No complaints. We've gotten a lot of content filmed and ready for you guys to consume. Today has been great too. Like, you know, I was kind of dreading doing like I suppose a splinter show by myself, but everyone showed up and showed out, and the support has been tremendous. And we got a really, really generous super chat from let's see, Zach Bowen. So no complaints. Actually, I really, really appreciate it. And we're just about we're just about there in terms of kind of like winding down. You guys in the chat and the community always make our experience with, you know, doing live shows and just hanging out like it's home. It's like the Force Awakens trailer with Chewie. Chewie, we're home. We gotta get the Yoda Shakes emote back now. I think, do we not have them? We just have the cup ramen. We'll see if we can add it in again. See if I still have it. It might be copyrighted because it's a Shamrock. What is it, McShamrock? It was a McFlurry, I think. Shout out to Grogu. Shout out to Grandpa Grogu. A Shamrock Shake? I think so. It was one of those. It was a McDonald's McCafe thing, right? That gives me an idea. You, Choco, should do a rewatch of all of the Star Wars sequels and Solo and Rogue One trailers. That's a good idea. Be interesting to kind of see what we glean from them now, having watched all the sequels. See if we missed anything. It's like, oh wow, they really like hinted at that. Didn't know about that. I would love a scene with live action Zeb with a Wookiee to tingle my nerd brain. I really gotta read that faster. I'd love a scene with live action Zeb with a Wookiee to tingle my nerd brain and tell my friends this is cool because Zeb was the original Wookiee design. That definitely does tickle the nerd brain for sure. That's one of those like fun fact. Whenever you're watching something with like friends that, you know, aren't in the know with a deeper trivia. All right, as part of our wind down and our decompression towards the end of this very, very lovely live stream, thanks in large part to everyone in the chat for hanging out. Why don't you guys try to stump me in trivia? This may go on for a while, or this might be the quickest stump in the world, but we'll see. Try not to go too esoteric. Try not to go too obscure. Who was Stellan Gios' master? Wait a minute. Gage, why you gotta hit so hard in the first question? He uses her lightsaber? Was it? Was it Jorah Malley? I know that was Wreath's master. Yeah, I'm trying to... Stellan Gios. You've given me a big clue with her lightsaber. How do I not remember this? Give me some time to think about it, Cage. I'm trying to think of all of the Jedi in the High Republic, and that's a tall order. Okay, see if you remember this. What do Mustafarians make their armor out of? The insect parts. Right? Insect parts from the insects out of... From remembering the Vader comic. They make it out of the insects that are native to Mustafar. The shells from the flea thingies. Yeah, I don't remember the names of the insects. I think you might have stumped me with that question. I'm trying to remember all of the... Because I didn't pay any heed to a lot of their former masters, right? Because we had a lot of the stories of the Padawans, and I was like, oh, that's their master. I think Rising Storm, she comes up a lot. This might be a name that doesn't come up like as often that you think. Because I don't think, if I'm correct, at least with trying to remember, I don't think they have a huge role at all. Like, at least not comparatively to like Pratre, Stalamaru, and like all of the other like masters. I think it's like a fleeting mention. I mean, the name might come up a lot, but I don't think Stellan's master had any big role. So I'm gonna call it there. I don't know Stellan Gios's master. It might be like someone like Rana Kant or something, or like an old master. It
It's a trap!
Bro, I knew it was one of those names that was just kind of like off on like the periphery of what I knew. I couldn't connect Rana Kant, that name, to anything. But I wasn't gonna use that as an answer because like I couldn't connect that name to Stellan. In the same way, like I, along with Rana Kant, I was like thinking of some of the masters that were mentioned in Phase 2. Well, you still got me. I still kind of, I called it. I said I don't know. So that was really good. Let's see. I finally beat KOTOR for the first time. Spooky. Awesome. What did you think? Did you take the golden path, or did you like, did you go dark side or something? What was the opus of your first KOTOR playthrough? Lord Goop says, what clone originally appearing in episode 3 makes an appearance in Master of Evil? I haven't read Master of Evil, Goob. So let's see. What clone originally appearing in episode 3? Who appears in episode 3? We have Oddball. We have Heavy. We have Cody. We have Rex. Is it Cody? Does Cody make an appearance in Master of Evil? I guess originally retcon to appear in episode 3. Fox? What planet is a pain in the goddamn ass on Jedi Fallen Order? Rhymes with Defo? Zepho? I was a good guy. Girl, lol. Bastila is alive. The galaxy is all saved, and everyone smiled at the Wookiee going, oh, with that award ceremony. Right on. Rail Avaros' Padawan. Oh man, I don't remember that name. It was a girl. Lost her during a mission, going on a bridge or something. Gosh, it's been a long time since I read Master and Apprentice. I don't remember Rail Avaros' Padawan. I told you guys not to go so obscure, right? I'm gonna try to stump you guys now. And because we're going like for like, let's go with something more obscure. Nymphiana. What is the ultimate fate of Vene? Death is the ultimate fate for all. Alright. What is the name of the planet that Skier, Tarot, and Saret all lose their minds to the Drengir? Gage is probably going to get this one, but we're going to try. I said combing my mind for some obscure fact. Name me 2 starfighters with atmospheric control surfaces. An X-Wing, a T-67. I don't know. And like a Tidarium. Jace isn't here. Forward into the Black isn't here. I missed it. What was the question? What was the planet they landed on where Tarek, Saret, and Skier all lost their minds to the Drengir and got consumed? A-Wing and Naboo fighter? Are you talking about the N1? Or is it another Nubian fighter that I don't know? I'm sure the N1 has one. Good job not being obscure, X-Core. Excuse me. I usually mute that. Kathleen is not the answer to that. What Force ability was recently shown to work on Force users? Bonus points if you can name who it was used on. Was recently shown to work on Force users. Like, a lot of Force abilities work on Force users. I think you need to rephrase that question. Because you can mind trick a Force user if your will is greater than that of the person you're trying to mind tap. You can certainly use a Force push on a Force user if they're not shielded against it. So a little specificity is in order. Elevons. Is that what it's called? X-Core? Goob, if this is coming from Master of Evil or any of the specifically in Legacy of Vader. I have read Legacy of Vader. I don't know that one. Just lazily browsing Facebook, a page there's claiming Dave Filoni hates Andor. Nice. What is their evidence for that? I don't believe for 1 minute that anyone that works for Lucasfilm actively hates any of their projects. Maybe some of the executives, but I don't know. Meant more that it was used recently, may not be when it was established to work. It was Mind Trick? I mean, yeah, if you're going off of the context of used recently, I wouldn't have gotten that because Mind Trick has worked on Force users before. So Chewbacca's wife's name, isn't that Legends? That's definitely Legends because I didn't my knowledge stops before New Jedi Order. Unless I've got to catch up on the books. I don't know. Is it revealed in a recent book, comic? Maybe I never knew this. I have a question regarding KOTOR. The animal sound that constantly plays on Kashyyyk, how long does it take for that to leave my nightmares? Approximately a year, 2 months, and 26 days. I sent the post to you in Discord about Filoni. No evidence, just stating it as fact. Well, so it says, now stepping in as co-president of Lucasfilm, his comments have sparked debate among fans, especially since Andor is widely praised as one of the boldest and most grounded Star Wars projects in years. What comments are they talking about? Maybe it's in the announcement itself? I want to look at this really quickly. I don't see anything. I don't see anything in the announcement that alludes to anything. I mean, he says in the quote about being promoted, "My love of storytelling was shaped by the films of Kathleen Kennedy and George Lucas. I never dreamed I would be privileged to learn the craft of filmmaking from both of them. From Rey to Grogu, Kathy has overseen the greatest expansion in Star Wars storytelling on screen that we have ever seen. I'm incredibly grateful to Kathy, George, Bob Iger, and Alan Bergman for their trust and the opportunity to lead Lucasfilm in this new role, doing a job I truly love. May the Force be with you." I don't see any comments he's made either recently or in the past that would suggest he hates anything. His comments have sparked debate. I don't like X-Core, you're on Facebook. I don't have a Facebook account. If you could like go into that post. Is it Star Wars World? Maybe I'll look into it. Make a video on it. Reports from late 2025, early 26 citing anonymous Lucasfilm insiders. Reports from outlets like The Wrap, echoed by fan sites like Star Wars World, stated Filoni disliked Andor. Yeah, this looks more like one of those things that's like this looks like something that's just meant to stir the pot. He hasn't made any comments. His wife is at the end of Chewie's comic, technically from Legends. Oh. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know that, Gage. Gage always coming in with like that esoteric factoid. He never made negative comments. It's an overblown rumor from an anonymous source. Yeah. 2 hours in, no game. I know. I mean, I planned on it, but it does say game day Yoda's Hut. I don't think did I like assign any game to this stream? Maybe. I don't know. That was the entire post. No link to an article even in the comments. Yeah. Let's see. A Lucasfilm spokesperson denied the rumors. Reports Inside the Magic in That Park Place. Oh, you mean like the two websites that is largely, you know, investors and geeks and gamers and nerdrotic? With those things? God. The two publications that have no the two publications that have no business in credible journalism. They're the ones that have been citing, you know, internal tension for the last 10 years, right? Kathleen Kennedy's been about to be fired for the last 10 years. There's a civil war in Lucasfilm for the last 10 years. man, I feel like I want to fight fire with fire and like just make fake stories about them. But then of course we're dealing with like libel and defamation. You know what I mean? Like making like a silly video like industry insiders report that Nerdrotic has shit his pants for no godly reason other than because he could. His wife Mala? I feel like I've read the name before. I just don't remember. I do know his son's name from Aftermath. What was his son's name? Lumpawaroo? I don't remember Amala from anything. I still can't believe how long it's been since Force Awakens. Right? It's odd. But then you think about all of the hate and the crap that comes from it, and you're like, I still can't believe people are harping on about it. Not that... So I feel like the one thing that I can be grateful for is that the harping has decreased. We're still fighting the good fight, and we're still finding videos to debunk, but like, it was rampant back then. Like, the Ray Mary Sue videos was just off the rails back then. Oh, I also remember that I asked a question of the chat. I don't think anybody got it. We got a guess from Gage. Kathleen was the wrong answer. The answer was Cedrus Minor. I just saw it after my son's first birthday. Oh, that's awesome. All right. Looks like that'll do it for this episode of Dyad Game Day, Yoda's Hut, where we played absolutely no games. But that's fine because I got to hang out with everyone and you know, shoot the gallery with you guys. I deathly appreciate everyone for showing up and showing out and just helping make this day fun and fantastic. Everyone wish Darth Choco a happy anniversary. But yeah, thank you guys so much for rocking with me. Thank you to everyone on the TikTok side, the YouTube side. Especially thank you to Zach Bowen for the $99 ramen drop. That was huge and very much appreciated. That's it, man. On to the next one. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. And we'll see if Yoda's Hut survives and Yoda's Hut comes back for Tuesday and we may have an actual game to play. But I'll make a post about it and see if everyone has an inkling for a Yoda's Hut on Tuesday. We'll see. But thank you once again for hanging out. That's it. On to the next one. For Light and for Life, we are all the Dyad. We'll see you next time.